What is up, YouTube? This is Alucard AFK with another MTGO game with commentary. So I have just been playing my black-blue control deck with mill discard theme, and every time that I swap a card in and out, especially with the milling aspect, the more I wanted to try out just a straight milling deck. But the thing I didn't like about milling decks is most of them don't have a good way to defend themselves. So I set out with a decent mill strategy and a way to protect myself a little bit better. Yeah, in the black-blue control deck, the Friction Obliterators do an awesome job of blocking and protecting and stuff. But I wanted to see if I could do straight blue, and what I'm finding is obviously you don't have a lot of straight permanent removal, and you have bounce back spells, but and you can also counter them before they even come out, things like that. So that's what I set out with this deck, and yes, I have 70 some odd cards in this deck. It's been revised since this game, and milled down to 60. But what I do often when I create a new deck is I'll put in more cards than I know I'll need, and play around with them, see which ones I like better, and then I'll eventually start cutting some. So now I'm down to 60. With this game, it was 70 something. We got 67 still in our library. So opening hand, we have a Jace's Phantasm. Really great card for 1 mana. You would essentially Jace's Phantasm gets 4/4 as long as the opponent has 10 or more cards in his or her graveyard. So I mean, you do a Mind Sculpt at 7, then you do a Dream Twist, and that's 3 more, so 10 or more, and then he's gonna get he'll be a 4/4. So for 1 mana, that's really good. So got a couple of those in here. I think I settled down with just 2 of them. Increasing Confusion, I'm still not really sure. This is a really good card if you have a lot of mana. It's an X spell, so target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his graveyard. If Increasing Confusion was cast from a graveyard, that player puts twice that amount of cards into his or her graveyard. So it's a good thing to get up to 7 or 8 maybe, and then cast it from your graveyard and do 16 on top of that. So I think I cut it down to just 1 in the final deck. Mana Leak, Jace's Erasure. Again, I cut this down to maybe 2, maybe just 1. So it's really nice. Whenever you draw a card, you may have target player put the top card of his or library to his graveyard. So each turn, you're going to get an additional milled off the top. I'm going with the Zendikar Islands. All 23 or 24 islands in this deck are going to be the full art cards. I really like this card. I'm not keen on any of the other full arts, really. I like some of the black ones, but I decided, and this is the first time I've actually used full art cards in MTGO. I've done it quite a bit in paper decks, but never in the online decks. So MTGO Traders is a great place just to find exactly what you're looking for and go ahead and grab it. And that's not really a spot for them. It's just I really like, they had just everything I needed, so I was able to construct deck much quicker. Curse of Bloody Tomb, enchant player at the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep. That player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his graveyard. So additionally, that's going to be 2 more on top of Jace's Erasure. So and he'll play a full art Zendikar land as well, the different one. And we had a Kraken Hatchling. I got a few of these guys in here. I wanted to run with 4, but I think I cut it down to 2. Again, it's 1 mana and it's a 4 defender, so isn't designated as a defender, but he's got no attack power, so he's a defender. So great to get early on and start blocking for you, and that'll help protect yourself a little better. So we'll play an island, and we'll go ahead and put the Hatchling out, block for us. And so he actually milled himself. So he got rid of a Snapcaster Mage, a Dragon Skull Summit, and then he was able to draw a card. So he's actually helping us out now. You'll play an Augur of Bolas. When Augur of Bolas enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card among them and put it into your hand. And put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So he'll go ahead and do that. You reveal Tribute to Hunger. It's a 2 colorless, 1 black instant. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. You gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So we got another island. Go ahead and play it. I'll go ahead and put Jace's Erasure out. So, triggered ability, Jace's Erasure, and you get rid of an Augur Bolas. Play another island. I'll go ahead and put Curse of the Bloody Tomb out. He'll dissipate it, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. So I like dissipate, but it's 3 mana, and usually you don't have 3 mana early on. So you know, negate, mana lake are always great, but this guy had just tons of counter spells. so exile that Curse of the Bloody Tomb. That's fine. And so he now has an island, a swamp, Sulphur Falls, which is blue and red, and a Dragon Skull Summit, which is black and red. Playing out a Similac. I always call him Similac, like the baby formula. This artifact creature, when he enters the battlefield, you choose a basic land card. When he dies, you draw a card. That summarizes it. That's what his flavor text should have been. So, or his instructions should have been. It should have been much. So triggered ability from Jace's Erasure, and you'll get rid of an island. So we drew a Divination, draw 2 cards. We'll go ahead and put Jace's Phantasm out. So there's not 10 cards yet. There's only 6 in his graveyard, but there will be pretty soon. So he'll get 4/4. Play a island. I always want to say swamp because I always play black decks. So this is all islands. Got to get used to it. And we'll do a Divination. And so when I drew cards, this Divination with Jace's Erasure is really powerful. So I wanted to probably try to keep at least 4 Divinations in there. Other than the fact that you get 2 cards, I drew a Thought Scour and a Dream Twist. Thought Scour puts top 2 cards where you know what it does. He did it to me, or he did it to himself actually. And Dream Twist, really great card. I hadn't really seen it before, mainly because I haven't really delved into mill decks. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his graveyard, and then you can flash it back for 1 color, so 1 blue. So that's really nice. So that's like a Thought Scour for less mana. Oh, actually, it's about the same mana when you flash it back. So triggered ability from Jace's Erasure will trigger twice. And he'll get rid of a island and a Dissipate. So he'll swing in with the Similac and the Augur of Bolas. So we'll block it with the Hatchling. So we drew a card. Jace's ability triggers. So we got a Fog Bank. That's another one of the ones defenders I put out, and this guy's even really better. Defender and flying, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by Fog damage or by Fog Bank. So the fact that he's flying and he can prevent all damage for 2 mana is really nice. And that's usually what gets past these guys, unless you have a flight or something that gets them up in the air. These guys are your best bet for defenders. So we'll do a Dream Twist, top 3 cards. He'll dissipate it again. I mean, he's already used one, discarded one, or got milled one, so a third one. So we'll do a Thought Scour instead. And so we drew a card, so Jace's ability triggered to get rid of an Augur Bolas and a Silver Falls. And got rid of an island. I'll go ahead and put Fogbank out. So Jace's Phantasm, there's 13 cards in the graveyard now, so he got 4/4, so he's a 5/5 flying now. And he'll go to 15. So I did a Thought Scour. Yeah, okay, so he did it on me this time, so we lost 2 islands. Is that right? Yeah, so we lost 2 islands. He'll swing in again with both, and again we'll block one with the Crackling. We'll block the other one with the Fogbank. And nothing will happen. So he tapped all of his lands and did a Black Sun Zenith for 5, so he will be able to get rid of Jace's Phantasm. So he'll essentially clear the board, and then he'll draw a card with Similac. We drew a card, and so triggered ability, and he lost the Pristine Talisman. We got a Mind Sculpt. Top 7 cards of the library going to the graveyard. So time to probably look at what we've been milling this far, because I just saw Nico Bolas, Dissipate, Nico Bolas, Snapcaster Mage, Tragic Slip, Thought Scour, and a Similac. And that was just probably the best Mind Sculpt I've ever done. 2 Nico Bolas. You know, the rest of them, his 4th Dissipate and a Tragic Slip if we had any more creatures out. So, but the 2 Nico Bolases was just crazy. Obviously, with his mana choices here, he was really hoping for those guys. It's at 26 cards in his library. We're at 56. So that's maybe a plus to having a bunch of cards. The one thing I did add into this deck after this game was Witchbane Orb, so we would get hexproof, and then they wouldn't be able to mill you unless they had some artifact removal. So he'll play a Pristine Talisman. And we'll go ahead and negate it. And he'll play another Pristine Talisman. And it'll go through. So he drew negate, and he will lose a Tragic Slip. So we'll go ahead and do Increasing Confusion for 4. I was hoping I would get some more land. So Similac, Augur Bolas, Mountain. He's got tons and tons and tons of hate. So we drew a Mind Sculpt, and he'll lose another card. It was a Black Sun Zenith, so really good. So into Mind Sculpt, top 7. Desolate Lighthouse, Tribute to Hunger, Similac, Drowned Catacombs, Swamp, Black Sun Zenith, Desolate Lighthouse. That's what we got in that one. So we do a Jace Memory Adept, and he'll lose a card. Another Black Sun Zenith. There's tons and tons and tons of removal. So we don't have enough to cast Jace. So we will do Increase Confusion for 4, actually for 3, and then it will be 6 because it's from the graveyard. And so he'll go to 4. And he got rid of another nickel ball loss, so there was 3 at least, maybe 4. A Thought Scour, a Tribute to Hunger, and Sulphur Falls. So that was pretty good. So he'll go ahead and concede on turn 9. We would have brought probably Jace out if we got another land and milled him, or we could have got really anything. A Mind Sculpt for 7, and he would have been milled out. And he made a comment that I have no game against any aggro deck, or as a question. Not really. You know, obviously I've brought some creatures out to block. You know, what are you going to do if you're a mill deck? Of course you don't really have much game if they have tons and tons and tons of creatures. So that's one thing. And I mean, and then the more creatures you put back in, the less it becomes a mill deck. So yeah, it's not going to be great. It's everything. It's definitely not going to win you, you know, tournaments or anything. But it's just a fun deck to play. So let me know what you think. Obviously, like I said, I ended on 53 cards. The deck has been, you know, milled down to 60, honed a little bit better for the cards that I really wanted to play. I played it a couple of games this way just to see what I liked and what I didn't like, what was slow, what was fast, what was the best way to mill them out and still protect myself. So, but let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Bye.